Hello, and welcome to Discussions with the Director. My name is Shileste Overton Morris, and I am the Chief Program Officer at the Central Susquehanna Intermediate Unit and also serve as Director at the Center for Schools and Communities. These discussions give me the opportunity to share with you how our core values connect with our work here at the Center. Our core values include service to others, equity in action, passion for excellence, and innovation for growth. Each month, I sit down with a professional who exemplifies one or more of our core values. I hope you enjoy today's interview. Welcome to Discussions with the Director. I am excited today to be interviewing Armand King, the founder of the nonprofit Walk With Me Impact, which provides youth mentoring solutions. Mr. King was a keynote presenter at our 2024 ELECT conference, and he spoke about unlocking transferable skills for success. Welcome, Armand.
Thank you. Appreciate being here.
So my first question for you is, can you tell us a little bit about your work and why it's important to you?
Absolutely. The work that I do is centered around mentorship. I would say that's the key ingredient. For over a decade now, I've been mentoring, I say, at-risk youth and adults through many different forms, creating programs, curriculums, at helping them in different levels, from leadership to entrepreneurship, job readiness, and just life skills. Helping people to become engaged civically through the local in my city, through being engaged with city officials and the different things that impact them and their neighborhoods and their communities. Majority of my work has been towards impoverished and marginalized communities. I'm an author of multiple books, and currently, I know, just slight correction, Walk With Me Impact is not a 501c3 nonprofit. It is a LLC. It is a for-profit entity that creates education material for nonprofits and other community groups to utilize to do the work that I've been able to do in the past years. Yeah.
Thank you for making that clarification. And so tell me why this work is important to you. What made you think about providing mentoring services for young people from marginalized communities and adults?
The work that I do is birthed out of a place of pain. I've lost a lot of friends, close loved ones to me, like majority of my life. And I didn't, set out to do this work. I feel like I was put in place to do this work. I was built to do this work. And that my connection to the loss of my friends drove me to want to see what caused their lives to end. Unfortunately, what I believe before they should have ended. They wasn't from natural causes. Majority of the people I've lost have been to gun violence. Second to that would be due to drug related in some way. And the work that I'm doing is really to see the end of that cycle of death and incarceration that's plagued communities like mine and throughout this country. And that's what prompted this work and why I do it. I would say, there's a few other things I would love to do too, but I believe this work is a mission that was set on me by a higher power.
Great. I think, we talked earlier, and one of the phrases that I wrote down is that you said you were kidnapped by God to do this work. And I just thought that was so powerful. And also wanting to share my sentiments around your loss, and that I'm sorry that you've had to endure those experiences. And also grateful that you've been able to turn that pain into promise for other people. And so often many people aren't able to, move on from those points of pain. But the fact that you have and are able to, again, give other people hope through that. Can you talk about what your impact has been on those young people who your programs and curricula have they've come into contact with?
The people that I have been blessed to be able to serve and help through their life challenges, or just in transition from dark places like I've been, maybe criminal activity, maybe it was previous incarceration, um, parentlessness, all of these different circumstances that impact everyone, but specifically and largely in communities like that I'm from. I've been able to touch hundreds of lives. And to this day, I see the results. Like sometimes you don't see them immediately. Like, okay, this person's life changed. They've been in my program for 9 weeks and the instant change. Although you do see some changes in people, but being able to have done this work for this length of time and over 10 years, I see the true benefits of people I had in my programs 9 years ago, 10 years ago, seeing them not only being parents, active parents in their children's lives, being productive members of society, going to college, just and even as simple as just changing a life. A toxic lifestyle that they may have been in. They might not be super productive in the in the workforce or doing tremendous what we might consider tremendous things, but to me, this person used to do be involved in less than promising activities, I'll say, and now they are not. Now they're living. Now they're thinking better. They're making better life decisions, and they're full. They may go on, and the trajectory they're on is much better than it was, and they may go on to doing those what quote unquote tremendous things later on. But the fact that they're not involved in those less than promising activities anymore. I've seen those results over and over and over again, and it fills me up, and I'm excited. And it's been a while, and you made that comment about God kidnapping me and taking me on this work. Yes, 100% He did. I cannot take credit for any of it. If it was up to me back then, I would have been drawing comic books, throwing reggae concerts, and loving my life in my restaurant. But so I have been utilized as a tool for many years, and I feel if it was to stop today, I believe I've done good by a lot of
You've
people.
made a difference.
Right, and the ripple effect is there, and then God willing, that continues on through them into their children, and many of the or a nice amount of the people I've helped and mentored are now mentoring, so it lives on.
Excellent. Is there a particular person or story that stands out for you that you would like to share to demonstrate some of the impact that you're talking about you've had on other individuals?
I think I spoke on this at the elect conference, but a young man by the name of Vincent, when he came into my life, he was one of the young people I came to find out was following in my footsteps when I was in less than promising activities. A kid from the neighborhood I grew up in who I was paying no attention to, did not know I was I was a father figure to him, the big brother that he didn't have, and I had no idea he was even alive. Coming into my life as an adult, as a 30-year-old man, where he was one of those youth that were brought to my attention that were following my footsteps. He let 2 years, within 2 years of him being active with me, he had been indicted, had a federal indictment that took quite a few young men like him and his friends off the streets. I helped him through that process, got him through the court process, back and forth probation violations, stood with him the whole time, helped him through, some mental health struggles he had, some behavioral health struggles, some anger issues he had. It really just helped him, stuck with him, regardless of what society wanting to cast him out, stuck with him. Fast forward, that man is now, a college graduate. This, I would say, over an 8-year span of from there to here, graduated college and has just been accepted into San Diego State University, where he's furthering his education to become a substance abuse counselor. He's a mentor to many youth as well as his peer group now, and it stands as an example of somebody who life has completely turned around, now traveling the country, going to experience life. And like I said, just something to me that simple, because people where I'm from, they don't really even leave their block or their neighborhood. But on
Mhm.
his own, just seeking out and going to New York, going to different places because he wants to see and live. That to me, he is one of many lives that I know I've had an impact on that make me happy.
That's pretty amazing. And it just, for me, elevates the importance of not only walking with people when they're celebrating a success, right? Giving them those pats on the backs when they're doing well, but also being able to walk with them through those difficult and challenging times and still say, you're important, you matter, and where you are doesn't mean that that's the place that you have to stay. And let me help you move forward. So that is, again, just such an amazing example of the power of transformational change and support and love, if I might add that. Can you tell us, you talked about your early childhood and not being involved in what you call promising activities. What might have made a difference for you as a young person?
Better relationship, not even with me, with my parents having a better relationship. I had my biological mother and father in the household, rocky relationship between them from, early elementary school age, and really witnessing that chaotic, toxic relationship. So had that been better, I think that would have helped me more. Had during that time, had my mom, who I love and is my best friend to today, had she had more space to think and see the art. I was really heavily into art as a kid. Still to this day, I am very much so into art. But had I been geared towards leaning, my parents pushed me towards what I liked, towards art class, art school, could have captured my attention. So when they finally broke up, and now when I found myself being a homeless youth and now reaching for other things, and that parenting had been started was gone at that point. So I would say more continual structure, pushing me towards positive activities that I was interested in. So yeah, it was a really distinct moments where the parenting was gone and the streets became my parents. And I've been on my own since I was 15 years old, where I just did not need to go home. I got my first apartment. I was 17. I was a junior in high school paying rent in my own apartment. So from I have been out of the house. I wish my childhood, I had a childhood and was able to be um, groomed to be a man, that part was missing. I was susceptible to being pressured and peer pressured to do other things that my surroundings taught me were okay.
Yeah, that's so important. Some of the work that we do at the center, it's focused on strengthening families and a program we call Parents as Teachers. We're the statewide office for Pennsylvania. And they talk about these protective factors that if parents can learn about these protective factors and integrate them into their parenting practices, the long-lasting impact that it has on the positive success of their children, not only academically, but just in the social, emotional wellness of who they are, their mental health. And so I think that's, so key. And a lot of times we don't necessarily understand that parenting is not one of those things that people automatically know how to do well. Depending on what their model was, they might default to that if it was good or bad, right? But that there really is this need to learn how to parent and learn how to be a good parent for your children. I'm a mom of two sons who are very different, and I had to parent them different along with my husband. And so I just really appreciate you sharing that early kind of factor that impacted, the trajectory of your life for so long. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
And I think And I think one of the things that I'm interested in hearing from you, um, because of your ability to touch so many generations thus far, like what is it that you would like for your legacy to be? What's your vision for the next 25, 50 years for kids from your neighborhood,
I just
or
told somebody,
neighborhoods like yours?
right. So it's directly from my community where I'm from. I told one of my young homies, one of my little brothers, I told him this the other day that I want to go down in history as the best big homie ever. I want my name to be known as that man did more for our community, for our direct lineage, whatever you want to call it, than anyone's ever done. And I'm already there. So when I love that, and I can hang my hat on that, and there's no dollar sign that can match that, and that means I did my work. If I can really say that, and not that it was money driven, I was frivolous things that I can't take with me when I leave here. But when that RIP Armand happens, in 100 years from now, or whenever God chooses to turn my light out, whenever, because no one gets to choose that time. But when that time happens, if my name lives on as he did great for me, for people, my children, that's what I want my legacy and my name to be. So my great grandkids get to hear about that, what their great grandfather did. I'll feel good about that. And I know I'm on that trajectory now, like I've said, and nothing against it. There's a bunch of people doing some good work, but that's specifically for my neighborhood, my young brothers that and sisters that grew up underneath me and with me. I want to be known as the best friend they've ever had. And as far as the larger population in the world, I just want my imprint. I've created things. I created stuff that will continue to help people far beyond my life. I was able to empower other people to help other people, you know, and shoot. And if I get the chance, I would want the preschool to prison pipeline totally destroyed if I had it my way.
Well, I definitely welcome that vision being attained. One of our core values is action. And, when you talk about, especially kids from or young people from marginalized neighborhoods, Black and brown children, those living in lower socioeconomic communities, that it's hard to be what you can't see. And I think, when I hear your story, you are demonstrating, you are access and opportunity to those things that they may have not seen before. And so, again, kudos to you for being willing to be that example in the community, and knowing too that there are so many more examples that are kind of hiding behind these spaces that we don't normally look in, and that passion for excellence, another one of our core values, is alive in each one of those children, each one of those adults that you've touched, and is now able to be unleashed in a positive way into the world. And so thank you for all of the work that you're doing, that you're continuing to do, and that you're building capacity in others to do. I wish you the very best, and hope that we can talk again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. And I look forward to working with you all, because I know this is just the beginning. And if you need me for anything, please reach out.
Definitely. We're going to hold you to that.
You got
Thanks
it.
again. Thank you for watching this interview today. To learn more about the Center for Schools and Communities and its programs, please visit our YouTube channel. Thank you.